Hello everyone, my name is Yulisa Maharani from Class A with ID student number 222325040. Today, we'll talk about something that affects all of us, like gender, equality, and the system that shapes our daily lives. First, I'll start with diving deeper into this conversation I've had since I was a high schooler. And what I discovered changed how I see feminism, men, women, and the norms we all live with. First, feminism is widely misunderstood. At its core, feminism is simply the belief in the social, political, and economic equality of all genders. It is not about hating men or wanting women to dominate. It is about dismantling rigid systems that limit human potential based on gender. Yet, many people still believe that feminism is anti-man or seeks special treatment for women. This misconception is what keeps us divided. Thus, brings me to why some expression of misandry or negative feeling toward men often trace back to misogynistic system. When women experience objectification, violence, or daily inequality within patriarchal structure, resentment can grow. Misandry is usually a reaction, not a systematic power structure like misogyny. Real feminism doesn't promote hatred for men. Instead, it works to fix the root causes so that resentment has less soil to grow in. Now, let's talk about men. Many men today feel confused or even oppressed. One big issue is that the idea of being passive or vulnerable somehow makes you less of a man. Patriarchy tells men that they must have be strong, stoic, dominant, and never show weakness. This belief is deeply harmful. It contributes to higher male suicide rate, reluctance to seek mental health help, workplace burnout, and broken relationships. Being passive doesn't define manhood. Authentically, empathy, and encourage to be human too. Feminism supports men in breaking free from these toxic expectations. And some men feels that equality itself is oppressive. When you've grown up with certain unearned advantage, whether in leadership assumption, public safety, or default credibility, losing that privilege can feel like losing something. But equality is not oppression, it is fairness. That patriarchal system gave men status at the cost of emotional freedom and healthier lives. Feminism wants to end that unfair bargain for everyone's benefit. Men are not enemy; they are often co-victim at the same limiting system. Although challenging these deeply ingrained gender norms is uncomfortable, but that's normal. We've all been raised with expectation on how men and women should behave, look, and live. When someone steps outside those boxes, it can feel threatening because it questions identity and power, but growth requires discomfort. Research across psychology and sociology shows that clinging to rigid norms hurts mental health, career choice, and family relationship. The discomfort is temporary, the harm of staying stuck is lifelong. Another area that desperately needs to change is purity culture. This culture, which is often heavy emphasis on female virginity, modesty, and shame around sexuality, damages both men and women. For women, it takes their worth to sexual purity, leading to anxiety, guilt, sexual dysfunction, and trauma. For men, it frames them as predators who can control themselves and turn sex into something shameful before marriage and magically perfect after. Healthy sexuality is built on consent, communication, and mutual respect, not shame and control. And let me be clear, none of this is about blaming individual men or women. It's about examining that system we've inherited. Feminism downright benefits everyone. It creates space for men to be emotionally open without shame. It gives women autonomy and safety. It allows us to pursue our potential beyond old script. I've seen in my own conversation, both online and in real life, how often this topic sparks strong emotion. That's understandable. Gender touches our deepest identity, but if we keep repeating misconception, we stay trapped. The equality means men can get. The equality means men can cry, women can lead, and no one loses the humanity in the process. Challenging norms is hard work. It requires listening, self-reflection, and sometimes sitting with discomfort. But the alternative, continuing a system that harms men through emotional repression, harms women through control and objectification, and limits everyone, is far worse. So, I leave you with this. Feminism is not the enemy of men. Misandry grows where misogyny thrives. Passivity is not manhood. Equality is not oppression. Discomfort is part of progress, and purity culture helps no one. Let's build something better together. Thank you. Goodbye. Udah.